Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys?
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Hey wife, did you know that Anchor is sponsoring our show?
Really? Don't we use Anchor to distribute our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts?
Yeah, and we are on just about every other platform available as well, thanks to them.
Why do we use Anchor as our podcasting service?
Well, they make editing and distributing our show a breeze.
What if one of our listeners wants to start their own podcast?
Then they should head over to anchor.fm or download the app to get started.
Awesome! You guys should go do that right now! Husband!
Wife!
Do you remember what happened yesterday?
They killed hundreds of thousands of animals.
They did.
They did.
In the process of bringing the ark into the temple.
Yes. Yeah.
And then they prayed a lot, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah, it was kind of boring. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, that's what happened.
It was a longer chapter that was completely unnecessary.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right, well, that was
First
Kings chapter 8.
And now we're going into 1 Kings chapter 9.
Let's do this.
Okie dokie.
Hey, wife, do you like coffee in the morning?
I sure do, husband. Morning, noon, night. Which reminds me, I need to add that to our grocery list because we're running low.
Wait, before you do that, check out the website ungodlybrew.com where you can purchase a pound of your favorite flavor of coffee.
What if I want more than 1 pound?
Either order a larger amount or better yet, get 10% off by setting up a subscription for every 2 weeks or a month or whatever works for you.
Did you set up something special for our listeners?
You know I did. Exclusive for our listeners, get an additional 10% off subscriptions by entering the code SACRILEGIOUSCOFFEE at checkout.
That's a hellishly good deal.
Ungodly Brew is hellishly good coffee.
Okay, 1 Kings chapter 9.
Okay.
So Solomon finished building the temple of the Lord, as well as the royal palace.
Yeah, he did.
The sea.
In the other chapter that we read.
Yep. He completed everything he had planned to do. He ticked off his list.
Yep.
Checked it twice.
He did, and he was naughty and nice.
Yeah,
no. No, he was just nice, I guess.
He was boring.
Yeah, he's boring.
Then the Lord appeared to Solomon a second time, as he had done before at Gibeon.
Yeah.
The Lord said to him, and I quote,
Yeah.
I have heard your prayer and your petition. I have set this temple apart to be holy, this place you have built where my name will be honored forever. I will always watch over it, for it is dear to my heart.
Well, he lied about that because it's not
there to this day.
Right.
As for you, if you will follow me with integrity and godliness, as David your father did, obeying all my commands, decrees, and regulations, then I will establish the throne of your dynasty over Israel forever.
Awesome.
Forever.
Right, yeah.
For I made this promise to your father David. One of your descendants will always sit on the throne of Israel.
Yeah.
But if you or your descendants abandon me and disobey the commands and decrees I have given you, and if you serve and worship other gods, then I will uproot Israel from this land that I have given them.
That must be why it's not there anymore.
Because
that's
burn.
Why he must have had a really good reason,
He hasn't appeared to people in ages either.
Yeah, at least since, the Bible.
Right. I will reject this temple that I have made holy to honor my name.
He did, because you know what? I just did a Google search because I was curious. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's not there, nor have there been any remains found.
Oh, burn.
So yeah, it was like completely destroyed.
That's mean, but oh well.
Yeah, right.
I will make Israel an object of mockery and ridicule among the nations.
Well, that's our job.
That's our job. Oh my God, babe, we're being prophets. We're fulfilling.
Yeah, God wanted us to do this because
we're fulfilling prophecy.
They're worshiping other things and whatever.
We're being tools of God.
Yeah, I guess.
You're such a tool. And though this temple is impressive now, All who pass by will be appalled and will gasp in horror.
Or they won't even know it's there because it's not.
I mean,
there.
We're reading about it and we were appalled.
Right?
They will ask, why did the Lord do such terrible things to this land and to this temple? And the answer will be, sigh, because his people abandoned the Lord their God who brought their ancestors out of Egypt, and they worshipped other gods instead and bowed down to them. That is why the Lord has brought all these disasters on them, end quote.
Okay. I wonder what all the disasters were that led to them not being able to find Solomon's temple in the 45-foot long tub sea thing.
Yeah.
Pool.
And the axles and the wagons.
I mean, that was a lot of fucking metal to disappear, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
That's a lot of metal to disappear.
That's true. It took Solomon 20 years to build the Lord's temple and his own royal palace. At the end of that time, he gave 20 towns in the land of Galilee to Hiram, King Hiram of Tyre.
So that answered that question. I wondered if they had done it at the same time or in succession. They did it one after the other. Mm-hmm. So,
he just kept on swimming.
Right.
Okay, I gotta do parentheses voice here.
Okay, yeah.
Hiram had previously provided all the cedar and cypress timber and gold that Solomon had requested, end parentheses.
Yeah.
They were just reminding you in case you forgot.
Good job, Hiram.
2 fucking chapters ago that he supplied all the wood.
Right. Was he Sidonian?
Yeah.
He was?
He was the Sidonian king.
Okay.
That he made
I was
the
just making
deal
sure.
with.
I remember the Sidonians chopped good wood. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't remember if Hiram was the king of the Sidonian wood choppers.
Nice wood. But when Hiram came from Tyre to see the towns Solomon had given him, he was not at all pleased with them. What kind of towns are these, my brother? He asked. So Hiram called the area Kabul. Kabul?
Sure, I don't know.
Cabul. Kabul.
Kabul.
Kabul?
I don't know. Kabul.
He called that area Kabul, which means worthless.
Okay.
As it is still known today.
I think there is a Kabul in Afghanistan, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
I believe.
That's sad.
I could be wrong about that.
I don't want that to mean worthless.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be a thing that's true of a place today.
Right.
That's what that means.
I don't think it's worthless if it's still there.
Yeah,
it obviously had some purpose.
Yeah, just so you know.
If there's a town there then, it had purpose.
Right.
People wouldn't just settle in a worthless area.
Yeah, that's true.
They would settle where there was resources to be, used and had. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not calling you worthless, Kabul.
You guys are good.
Nevertheless, Hiram paid Solomon 9,000 pounds in gold. This is the account of the forced labor. Oh, I hate it when they do accounts of anything.
Yeah.
Of the forced labor that King Solomon conscripted. Forced labor that was conscripted.
Slaves.
To build the Lord's temple, the royal palace, the supporting terraces, the wall of Jerusalem, and the cities of Hazor, Megiddo, and Gezer.
Don't forget the fucking bronze carts.
Yeah.
Right?
The axles.
Yeah.
The axle follies. Okay, more parentheses voice. Ready?
I'm ready.
Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, had attacked and captured Gezer, killing the Canaanite population and burning it down.
Oh, man.
He gave the city to his daughter as a wedding gift when she married Solomon, so Solomon rebuilt the city of Gezer. End parentheses. Okay?
Can you imagine giving a city as a wedding gift? Hey, I'm just going to get you, I don't know, New York,
Hell.
I'm going to go downtown and be like, I conquered you! And then, it's yours, darling.
Oh, my God. What will we give our kid on their wedding day? A city?
Let's see. What could we give them? Well, I mean, we could go to Los Angeles. That way we can get both coasts,
Oh, nice,
right,
nice, yeah. Here.
I've always wanted to go to, what's that place? New Orleans.
New Orleans?
Yeah.
That's not on the coast.
It's on a coast, the Gulf Coast.
Right, but it's not on the West Coast.
No, I'm covering the third base here. Like,
okay.
like you got I got to have them all. And then,
all 3 coasts?
Yeah.
A monopoly on the coast.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What about...
I'll just go downtown of each of these cities and I'll just announce victory. And then I'll just give them to whoever I want to give them to.
Our
you
kid.
and my daughter. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
I accept.
Right.
He also built up the towns of Lower Beth Horon, Baalath, and Tamar in the wilderness within his land.
Okay.
The wilderness.
Yeah.
He built towns as supply centers and constructed towns where his chariots and horses could be stationed. He built everything he desired in Jerusalem and Lebanon, and throughout his entire realm. There were some people still living in the land who were not Israelites, including Amorites, Hittites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites.
Some of those guys were completely destroyed at other points in the Bible. Mm-hmm. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, this is weird. Like, you're the one survivor of this completely conquered nation.
No, none of that was true. That's what happened.
Right,
so.
right. These were descendants of the nations whom the people of Israel had not completely destroyed. These were descendants of the nations whom the people of Israel had not completely destroyed. So, they were literally the last remains of people who had been conquered.
Right, right. But of those people, they definitely said that they had destroyed them all, of some of those people that they mentioned.
Right.
So
their way of describing the complete desecration of a city and killing them all, quote,
yeah.
unquote, is different from my
I think it's just like
we squashed their power.
They're gloating about something that they did real good.
Yeah.
But maybe not to the point where, they actually destroyed them all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And we have to go through and be like, oh, you didn't actually mean the thing you said.
Right. And which the reason I point these things out is because this is, in many people's opinion, God's word.
Right.
And if God does not say the correct thing, then there's something not right about that.
Yeah.
That's not, he's supposed to be infallible, right?
Right.
Yet he is.
Fallible.
At least if we're taking the Bible as God's word.
Right.
He is definitely fucking fallible.
Totally fucking fallible.
That motherfucking fallible motherfucker. Sorry, I just felt like going off a little bit there.
You're so fallible.
Yeah.
Ugh. So Solomon conscripted them as slaves, because of course they did.
They said slaves. Okay.
And they served as forced laborers to this day. But Solomon did not conscript any of the Israelites for forced labor.
Of course he didn't.
Because he's a xenophobic fuck.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta conscript the foreigners as slaves. That's who you conscript.
Yeah. Racist son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Instead, he assigned them, the Israelites, to serve as fighting men, government officials, officers and captains in his army, commanders of his chariots, and charioteers.
Those sound like pretty prestigious jobs.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Ones that are well thought of and not slaves.
Respectable jobs.
Definitely not slaves.
Right. Ugh, the whole thing is just so gross to me.
I just find it odd that there are fucking slaves in the Bible.
Yeah.
Like, all the time, and God's just,
fine with it.
He's good with it.
He's just fine with it.
He's like, whatever, slaves. Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
It's just that, we gotta have some slaves.
We need slaves. We're supposed to have
I'm
slaves.
God, and slaves are okay.
Right. Except that it strikes me that the loudest Christians are white Americans who would be slaves. Because they are not Israelites.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But, the funny, not funny, it's not funny at all, but the American slavery institution was justified by using the Bible.
Right.
And I just, it's sickening. Like, and I can see why and how. Like, they very much, like, so Israelites have come to be known, like, we've adopted that we are all God's people. And if you are not part of that group, then that's how they justify making you a slave.
Right.
And then even beyond that, once you even adopt that God, they're like, well, but you're still lesser than us.
Right.
Like,
right.
Oh, because you said so?
Right. Because you got the bigger gun.
I'm sure God's just fine with it, right? Because he's a dick.
Sure.
So
it just makes me laugh. If these people were alive today, white Christians would be slaves. They just would.
Yeah.
Because they're
not Hebrew.
They're not Hebrew. They're not from that land. They're outside of that land.
Right.
They're not from there.
Right.
So I don't know what makes white Christians think so highly of themselves. They literally would be slaves. So why the fuck are they so fucking high and mighty and excited about this God?
Because they got money and other people don't.
Right. So Solomon appointed 550 of them to supervise the people working on his various projects, to supervise the slaves.
Yeah.
So Solomon moved his wife, Pharaoh's daughter, who doesn't even get a name anymore. I think her name was mentioned once. And all we know about her is that she's the princess.
Got it.
She's a princess that he married.
Yeah.
He moved her from the city of David to the new palace he had built from her.
Oh.
Ooh la la.
But remember, she had like a separate house in the palace somewhere?
Yeah.
Or something like that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe he just wanted her not just in a separate palace, but in a separate city altogether. Then he constructed the supporting terraces. Oh, okay. That's an odd...
Wait, then he what?
Yeah. So
okay.
he took her to this other city, and then he built her some balconies.
Okay. Yeah.
It's so fucking weird.
Sure.
3 times each year, Solomon presented burnt offerings and peace offerings on the altar he had built to the Lord. He also burned incense to the Lord. And so he finished the work of building the temple. King Solomon also built a fleet of ships at Ezion-Geber, a port near Elath, in the land of Edom along the shore of the Red Sea.
So we learned that Solomon and his mom, Bathsheba, were very much part of writing this book.
This history, yeah.
And it's just sounding like a fluff piece to me. Like, I'm like, this is such bullshit. Like, you guys, I mean, this guy sounds like just the most fucking...
The richest,
wonderful,
most
richest,
powerful.
most fucking godly person that ever existed. And, of course, he's the wisest, too, remember. Don't forget about that. And I'm just like, this is...
It's
not true. This can't be fucking true. It's like, such bullshit.
It's what you would expect a 5th grader to write.
Right? Like, I'm all good. I did all the good things. Yay!
I'm powerful. I'm the biggest and the bestest.
Yeah.
And the smartestest. Hiram sent experienced crews of sailors to sail the ships with Solomon's men. They sailed to Ophir and brought back to Solomon some 16 tons of gold. The end.
Wow, 16 tons of gold.
How many
Jesus
ships?
Christ.
How many ships did that take?
I don't know.
Because, you can't put too much on board. It's going to sink your ship.
Right?
Fucking heavy.
Yeah, 16 tons of gold.
Right?
Where the fuck do you just sail and go find 16 tons of gold at?
I don't know.
I guess back then.
Ophir.
Right, yeah.
They went to Ophir and they brought back gold.
Okay. Well, that's some good shit, I guess.
I guess.
He's doing good. He's bringing all the gold and
all the
doing
riches,
all the things and,
yeah.
and
put
stuff.
his wife up in a fucking palace of
Gave
her
his
own.
wife a city.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Dude's got it going on, man.
He does. Solomon's the best.
Yeah, something like that.
Whatever.
All right. Well, that was 1 Kings chapter 9.
And tomorrow we will be back for 1 Kings chapter 10.
We'll see you guys then.
Bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.